Live from Austin, Texas, it's the internet's favorite advice show.
Answering for a Friend.
Now, here's your hosts, Clint Baker and Mia Harms. Hey, what's up, guys? It is Clint and Natchet. We are back for another episode of Answering for a Friend. Natchet, can you hear me? Sound check. 1, 2, 3.
I can hear you.
Dude,
how's it sound?
Like butter, man. Like butter. How's your day going, man?
It's good. It's good. I got really excited that you asked me to come on to my favorite show of Thursday night.
Yes, I'm stoked you're on, dude. I was like, I didn't have a co-host tonight, and Mia was busy, and I said, dude, who better to get than Natchet Taylor?
I like that little graphic you made, too. I like that a lot. I was thinking how I wish I had Mia's hair.
You talking about this one here?
That's the one.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, hey, before we get into it and start asking questions, we got to remind everybody, guys, I need you guys to like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell so we can let you know about future videos and live streams. Man, this was fun. We'll see you next week, dude. Natchet, thank you for subbing in, and thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week. I'm just kidding. Here we go. Let's get
Yeah, it was fun. I had a good time.
Dude, let's do the first one. Speaking of dicks, here's the first question. Oh, my boyfriend started venting to me. Oh, it's my friend. My friend started venting to me about some really heavy stuff that I don't really want to hear. How should I tell him that I'm not his therapist without being a dick? Am I being one? Asking for a friend. So that's a typo up there. My friend, it's just basically somebody whose friend is venting to him, but they're getting really heavy with the stuff. And it's like, and it's like, dude, there's a point where talking to somebody is one thing, but when you start getting real heavy and like, like sometimes that makes people uncomfortable. What do you say to that?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Maybe I could, if I was coming, Mia would say communication and honesty, openness, all that stuff. That's what she would say. She'd say, tell your friend this and tell him straight up. I don't think you're being a dick though. If it's something like you can't handle, you feel like it's too heavy for you to carry around, then yeah. I think, you're not going to help your friend out. If it's too heavy for you to even deal with, what kind of advice are you going to be able to give your friend? So it's not like you're going to be doing any good.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree with it. Sometimes, if you start talking about ending your own life or something, I mean, yeah, you need to listen because this person's in trouble. But
right.
But you either need to call somebody or you need to tell, hey, man, you need to see a therapist or some kind of counselor because I'm not equipped to deal with this. Also, not only do people freak out and get weird about stuff, somebody starts talking like real heavy stuff, like, sometimes you get pissed at the person and you're like, dude, sometimes people have a dude, quit feeling sorry for yourself kind of a mentality. And
yeah,
that's not necessarily what the person needs to hear at that time. You know what I mean? Sometimes they do need to hear that, but sometimes they don't. So if it's like, if too big for what you think you can handle, I would say recommend them to see somebody who can handle that. And I would also, if they're talking real heavy, you need to call a family member of theirs and kind of talk to that person and say, hey, do we need to check this person into a place or call somebody? Because the last thing you want to do is wake up and wishing you'd have done something and you didn't do anything. So that's some serious stuff. So, that's a heavy start.
I know you started it heavy. I think you could be. There's a difference between being a dick and then saying something like, "I'm totally not equipped. I don't have the train. I don't know anything about this particular thing. I care about you, but I think you should talk to somebody that really knows a lot more about it, and let me help you get that."
Yeah,
that's not being a dick.
No,
I don't know. That's how I want to hear it. I think.
Dude, I like that microphone you've got there. That's is that an SM7?
It is. It's an SM7B,
right?
Yeah, it's it's the B. It's like the Tokai of Shure mics.
Dude, that is
not
like
quite the SM7.
Dude, you were looking Rogan AF over there.
It sounds good, right?
Yeah, man, it sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good mic.
Well, let's jump into the comments real quick, and see what's up. Some ass grass. Uh, what do we go?
Okay.
What time is answering for a friend? That must
There
be
was
because
a bit
he
of a
was.
lag.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a lag. It was like 15-minute lag going on. Oh, here we go, says James. All right, who else we got? Phil, you talk about your therapist and how great they are. That's right. You talk about your therapist because we're all about the therapy. If you need it, go talk to somebody because
Oh, absolutely.
there's no shame in that stuff.
No, that's actually a really good. It's a really good idea to do, anyways.
Yeah.
Just getting to talk about all the little things you're not even really aware of.
Yeah.
Phil's here. Phil didn't go to the soccer game, I guess.
Phil's probably watching at the soccer game. Phil secretly.
Oh, that's legit.
Yeah, Phil secretly doesn't even care about soccer. He likes the way the jerseys look and he likes to drink beer. So it's like, dude, I could be hip and wear a jersey and drink beer at the stadium and watch Answering for a Friend all at the same time. And for that, Phil, you get the air horn of the day. Yes.
I like that air horn. That's my favorite.
Yes. Well, let's go to the next question. We're gonna get even more heavy, more
Oh,
intense.
man. All right.
I
That's why I'm here.
I touched my nether regions after eating hot wings, and now I'm on fire. What do I do? Asking for a friend.
Well, don't put water on it.
Oh
Oh,
boy,
man.
that's heavy, guy.
That is heavy. That's rough.
That happens every day. You're not alone. I want you to know you're not alone. I have a good friend, Danielle. You might even see her on here sometime. She used to do Black Shirt Podcast with me. Dr. Science. She knows too. We've had this conversation many a times, but if you go to like wing place, like Pluckers has a sign in the bathroom that's like, guys, make sure you wash your hands before you touch your junk because you've got capsaicin on your fingers and that stuff. You hear about the Scoville scale. Some people don't know what a Scoville scale is.
What's the Scoville? Like, how many units is the?
Well,
I don't know.
Here's the deal. It's a parts per million basically is what the Scoville scale is, like of water per capsaicin to dilute the spice. That's how they measure it. It's like how much water, how many parts per million of water to capsaicin to dilute it to the oils. And I got explained this one time. I was working at a restaurant and there was a woman who had a tres leches cake. And tres leches is a sweet, delicious, wet cake. It's wet, which sounds gross if you're not in with the Mexican food and don't know, but it's got like sweet condensed milk, another milk, and whole milk. It's got three leches, three milks, and it's delicious, but it's wet and it's cream out the wazoo. There's no spice to this one at all. And
that's a 0 on the Scoville, right?
0. It's a -0. In fact, if you want to get rid of a spice, the milk helps. You know, milk is a base and it neutralizes that. But so this lady's like, do y'all make your cake spicy? And I'm like, no, ma'am. I wanted to say, ma'am, are you a moron? Like, no, it's not spicy. She's like, I'm serious. This is spicy. And I go, you're crazy. And so she's like, you think I'm crazy? Taste it. And she's like, if you don't mind eating after a stranger. And she was like, and I'm like,
and did you eat it?
I did. I was like, this lady, and you know, she was an attractive younger woman, like close to my age. I was like, I would kiss this woman, so I might as well take, you know, I might as well take a bite off the cake. You know, it's not too gross. And so I took I took a little bite, and sure enough, it's spicy. So I went back and told the kitchen manager, I was like, dude, this cake is spicy. What the hell? And he's like, oh no. And in this restaurant, the prep cook had been cutting serranos, and he just ran a little bit of water to wash the blade off, and then he went over and started cutting the cake, and he didn't really scrub the hell out of that knife. And he's like, dude, it's the Scoville. Like, what are you talking about? That's how they measure Scoville units. What? How many parts per million of water to capsaicin to dilute the oils? And I was like, okay. And he's like, and he didn't use enough water, so that didn't get. So that knife, even though it was wet, it was still covered
Doesn't
in
work.
oils. And when he cut the cake, it got onto the cake. And I go, wow, okay. So yeah, he needed to rinse that. You know, if he'd been cutting celery, it wasn't a big deal. He would just rinse it off, and it's fine. He could have switched to tomatoes, no biggie, you know. But anyway, so that's when I learned what the Scoville unit scale, and I know that police pepper spray is 4 million Scoville units.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah. So in any case, um, I also know my buddy Dave Keel from Riddling Kids, drummer Dave. He one time he grew some red peppers and he sun dried them and he was grinding them up with like a mortar pestle. He grinded them up.
That's old school. He's always old school.
Yeah. And then and I was over while he was doing this, and I just stopped by for a second, and then I went home, and he called me about 30 minutes later. He's like, "Dude, you're not gonna believe what I did." And I go, "What happened?" He goes, "I went to take a leak, and as soon about halfway through the journey, all of a sudden his junk was on fire, and he had to leap into the shower and just turn the water on himself because he pepper sprayed himself in the nether regions." So. Long story short, I've heard tons of horror stories. I've heard people that were on dates, ate wings together, went home and got frisky, and next thing you know,
Oh no.
they're both on fire. I mean, I've
No.
heard some bad stuff. So guys, always wash your hands. That's the moral. That's the moral of
Soap
the story.
soap kills the oil, and I would imagine a cold shower, right? I mean, the heat's probably even worse. So
Yeah, cold
that's the best I got.
and I know sour cream helps. And they say yeah, sour cream. And they say milk, like milk helps. So like if that happens, that's what they do it in like
They're just like
yeah,
milk
like
in the
that's why they take gallons of milk to like protest situations where they might get pepper sprayed
right,
or
right.
something because they can just douse themselves in milk and they're good. They're covered in milk, but they're good, you know. But wow, yeah. Good luck, my friend. That's crazy.
Happy journeys.
Yes. Let's hit another question. And for the touching the junk after the hot stuff, you get a yeah.
Sucks.
Here we go. And how's everybody doing in the chat? We got 4 viewers, dude. We're going viral right now.
Hey, all right.
Yeah.
It was that hot junk question.
Hot junk in the trunk. My
Oh
doctor
man.
my doctor scolded me for getting vaccinated. Is he crazy or am I? Natchet Taylor, what do you got, dude?
This is real?
That was really out there. Somebody asked him that, and dude, that's the second time. That's somebody. That was somebody, but I've heard actually from a family member that told me too. That was like, you haven't gotten vaccinated?
A medical doctor or an MD or a
Real deal, legit, and was like, okay, good.
which vaccination? Like, was it like for a horse, like a different species?
No, like the COVID vaccination, man. I know this probably gives you an ice cream headache because you're such a good Samaritan. You're out there helping old folks on your days off. You're spending your days off giving people the vaccine and yeah, to help everyone. Yeah, that was a real one. We can skip if you want. But
I imagine that that the only real thing is that you have a bad anaphylactic reaction, right? So scolded him that maybe he was allergic to it, he or she was allergic to it perhaps, and they scolded him like, hey, other than that, I can't imagine. I think, you know what, the doctor's crazy. That's what I'm gonna see. I'm just gonna pick doctor's crazy.
Doctor's crazy. I'll go with that, dude. Yeah, it was more of a case like, have you gotten the vaccine yet? No, not yet. Okay, good. Whew. Yeah, that was real. That's a real one. All right. Well, yeah, dude,
well, maybe
not,
that doctor didn't learn how vaccines work. I don't know. We don't know. I don't know.
That's not the first case of that. I'll tell you later when we get off the air, another crazy story. But yeah, there's some crazy information out there. Guys,
every doctor I've talked to granted, most of it's in emergency medicine, but I mean, it's not even. Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think you're crazy. The person who asked the question. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well,
We'll leave it.
yeah, the good thing is it's always good to ask questions, and
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean. And the more questions you ask, the more answers, the more perspectives you get. So keep asking questions. Uh, but yeah, the crazy
Or the
stuff.
more crazy you get, the more questions you
Or-
ask, the more crazy answers you get.
that too.
And
Well, all right. Well, moving forward, let's see what else we got. Should I quit the fire department to do tattoos? That's a condensed version of the question. I sent you the question
oh
before,
yes,
and
yes,
I'm
yes.
gonna read this real quick for them. Let's see here, real quick. Let's see. I'm 29. I've been a paramedic firefighter for 8 years now. I've seen and done cool things, but I've also witnessed death, tragedy, and very sad moments that haunt me to this day. A little over 2 years ago, my wife bought me a stick and poke tattoo kit. We did small heart tattoos. And our ring fingers with a living room floor, blah 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 blah. I was hooked from that day on. Then bought a cheap tattoo machine off of Amazon and started practicing on fake skin and pig skin and my little sister. I'm just kidding. And at the spare time, after 6 months of practicing, I managed to get an apprenticeship, all while working at the fire department on 48-hour shifts, which is cool about the fire department because you work hard, but then you get time off. That's great. I
Mm-hmm.
I was at the tattoo shop every day that I wasn't at work. Learned a lot, pushed my creative skills. Fast forward to the present day, I now work for a really big, busy Florida Beach tattoo shop. As a part-time artist, I'm specializing in lettering, micro pieces, and blah 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 blah. It's gotten to the point where I'm making double what I make at the fire department by only being at the shop 3 days a week. I've become unhappy with being a paramedic firefighter. I just don't have time for it anymore. Should I quit? Oh, by the way, my IG is this, and we'll just do his name. It's J Romero underscore tattoos. J Romero underscore tattoos. If you ever wanted to check out my work, so he's saying, should I quit my firefighter gig? And he's making double what he makes at the firefighter gig, and he would rather be doing something else that he's doing and making more money at. I mean,
Hmm.
what do you think?
Well, I guess I do that job, right? So, um, I guess I was thinking I think he should go for it. And here's why. He thoroughly enjoys what he does. He said that he it doesn't do it for him anymore, the fire department
Yeah,
stuff and being a paramedic.
I
And think about what you're gonna bring to the job if you're miserable. I mean, you're gonna go make fires, you're gonna go see patients, you're gonna do that. And if you're it sounds like he's got he's dealing with a lot of that. Also, a reason why you wouldn't want to quit is because of maybe the longevity, like you get a pension or a retirement, or maybe it's more job security than, say, a tattoo shop, perhaps. But I was thinking if I was going to talk to the guy, I'd say, like, hey, I think you should follow your dreams. That's something that makes you happy. It doesn't even feel like work. You make more money. Be smart about it. You can maintain your certifications as a paramedic and as a firefighter. If, say, some weird thing happens, you want to go back and work in a hospital again, or you need to go, maybe there's a fire department that will still hire you again with those certifications. You can still keep them up. A skill is a skill, just like the tattoo artist skill. It's the same thing, keep it up. That's what I'd say. Do it.
I agree with you. I would say too that like if you're making twice as much money as at the firefighter, I mean at the tattoo thing, then why can't you just take some of that money and put it away in like it's more
Yeah.
money than you're used to making, so just put it away in some kind of like 401k or something that's going to
Yeah.
turn into what a pension would be if you're worried about losing the pension, because that's probably the only reason. If you know what I mean, if he's not digging it, it's probably thinking, hey, I don't want to waste 7 years into what my pension would be. But again, if you're more happy doing that, you could set yourself up. So, and
And
you're
the paramedic firefighter thing, that's a job. It's still just a job. I mean, I think it's a fun job. I think it's cool. But
Mhm.
if you don't enjoy it, it's still just a job. go do something. I think people, I don't know, my thoughts are go do something that you enjoy, something that only you can feel joy from doing. Like whether it be or be a writer or be a tattoo artist or play music or whatever. Go if you get a chance to chase that, go chase it. I think. Now he's making money. He's got it good because he's making. He said twice as much he's making. So he's got one of those. His passion happens to be making a lot more money. So I
Yeah.
think that's a no brainer. But keep your certs. Keep them up to
Yeah.
date.
Like I make 1/100th as much doing YouTube as
I think
do-
you should still do that though.
It's my day gig. Let's see here.
I know, dude.
What is the best way to break up with somebody that I've been seeing for only about a month? Asking
What?
for a friend.
Why is breakup in quotes?
I don't know.
I love quotes. Does that mean fake?
Hi,
break
what's the
up?
best way
Like,
to
not really.
break up with somebody? I don't know. That's a pretty good question though. Yeah. What's the best way? Well, I mean, there's a lot of ways to break up with somebody. One
There
way
is.
is to break up with somebody. There's one way is just to never call them back again, but that's pretty brutal.
The kids call that ghosting, right?
Yeah, that's what they yeah, and that's totes cringe. If you ghost
Oh.
somebody, that's cringe. As they say.
Ugh.
Yeah. Natch, your hair is on fleek. I just want you to know that. But
Oh man.
on fleek. Remember back?
Yeah,
remember
I'm
that
glad. Now I remember that. I think if we're using it, then it's not cool
one?
anymore.
Yeah, no, it's not.
We have,
Dude, you're looking pretty hench.
what is that? I've never heard that. Is
Hench,
that you,
like a henchman, it means you're like buff. It means like, dude, Henry Cavill, he's getting ready for Superman. He's looking pretty hench. That's a UK thing. I don't know that that's made it to the States yet, but they say that in the UK. That's hench.
is it?
Hench is
Does
like,
it come from henchman?
yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess. Yeah, Henry Cavill's looking pretty hench. That's
Okay.
that's a thing. So, hey, dude, you're
All
looking
right.
pretty hench.
Hey, thanks. You too.
Anyway, the best.
I don't know. I break up. If I was Mia, Mia's always. What I like about Mia, she's always like, communicate, be open, be honest, just say what's up, do it. That's what she would say.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to bring a little bit of that spice back to your show. But I would say that you could, you know what, you could create you could do it creatively. You could make like a movie, like on iMovie or something on your phone. Do like a little drama, and then in the end, could present like a breakup. It's only a month, and then that person would tell. They'd have a story for the rest of their lives.
You have like a trail.
How's that?
Have like a trail with like rose petals, and they like follow the rose petals, and then there's like a note that says, "I don't, yeah, I don't like you." That's a terrible thing, dude. You're a psychopath. That reminds me of my friend's. My buddy has a comic. It's Gonzo Baloney. He's on. He's bologna, not spelled like the food, but BOL.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, Gonzo Baloney, but it's EY at the not Bologna, but
Okay.
Baloney. Yeah, and he's on Instagram, and he does stuff like The Far Side. They're just one frame. Funny comics, and one of them is like, it's clearly Rick Moranis and stuff, and it's like, honey, I shrunk the kids, and the guy's like this, and then he's like, just kidding, the kids are fine, but I don't love you anymore. And I don't know why, but it's super funny to me.
You could do it like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, but yeah. And one that I've always heard is like Jerry Maguire. If you remember Jerry Maguire, they're gonna fire him, so they take him to a public place with a lot of people.
So he doesn't freak out.
So you can't freak out if you're in public. You can if you're a psychopath, but like if you're in public, you're like, oh, okay. And if you're truly worried about like a big dramatic scene, it's always you go to a public place for dinner, and then coffee shop, whatever, and then
That's a good idea.
I used to have a friend that had a spot. He's like, dude, this is my breakup spot because
Oh man.
because it's a safe place. I have friends that are there that work there, and then like usually after that happens, they'll leave. And he was, you know, he was
They'll leave and he'll hang out with the friends later.
then
Is
he'll
that
stay, and then he could just stay, you know. And he's like, yeah, then
chat
I could
about it?
stay, yeah, and
Yeah, get a place.
yeah, that's what you need. You gotta have a breakup spot. I thought that was genius, and I was like, I don't really break up with people. If if you're like me and if you just be yourself long enough, they'll break up with you. You know, I'm just kidding.
That's another option.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm true to myself.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what this next one is here.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, is it okay to apply for a job that says I need to be proficient in Microsoft Word, asking for a friend? Uh, do you think it's morally
No, it's more.
like, I mean, do you think there's a more? Do you have? This is really stressing this person out. This person's having a moral dilemma.
Okay, all right.
Is it
Yeah.
morally okay to apply for this job?
I think so because you will figure out Microsoft Word in the end, or you won't. And you know what? Proficient's one of those words you could put quotes around because really, I mean, that's what that's a relative term, right?
Yeah, just say that at the interview. I mean, what is proficiency? I mean, you know, I can get the job done. I mean, might take all day.
Man, okay. So what they say is it appropriate?
Yeah, let's see here.
Try to see the words.
Is it okay to apply for a job that says I need to be proficient in Microsoft Word, asking for a friend?
I think that you could do better than that job. If Microsoft Word's the only thing you could do better.
Yeah,
There's much better applications out there anyways. So
I say
find something better.
My dad always told me, if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit. That's what my dad always said.
I've heard you say that, and that's one of my favorite your dad isms.
Yeah. So I would bluff, if you really want this job, I would bluff my way through. And there's so many tutorials on YouTube. Are you kidding me? Like, man, me and all my friends, I've learned how to mix and master records. I've installed a sink in the
You
kitchen,
do this.
in the
You do
kitchen.
this amazing.
This thing, yeah. I learned everything from YouTube tutorials. I've installed a water heater in the house and with a welding torch bent the copper piping and
if you mess up, Clippy comes on and just like dink 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 on your screen and tells you, oh, "Hey, it looks like you're writing a letter. Would you like me to help?" Like is Clippy still around?
I don't know. I can't use Microsoft Word. Clearly, I didn't write that. Well, maybe I wrote that question, but yeah, I don't know.
You know, it was like a little. You know what I'm talking about, though, right? The little paperclip, the animated paperclip, who comes up and messes up your whole your research paper.
Was
for
it
school.
like the little Miss Minutes thing on Loki? The little I don't know if you're watching that show.
No, I haven't started the show.
There's
yet.
a little clock that bounces around. Yeah, I mean, well, clearly you got.
I think all the people our age will have gotten that. I guess if it's a younger crowd, then they don't know what we're talking about.
What's a clippy? What's a paper clip? They didn't even use paper. If they're younger than us, they're like, "What's paper?"
Yeah, they're hinged though.
Yeah, they are. They all go to the gym stuff. It's the future. Welcome to the future. Everyone's fit. Everyone does squats. Welcome to the future. Yeah, it's good. Everyone should be fit. Yeah, you guys will live long, healthy lives. And
or
some feta cheese fell into the couch. What should I do? Asking for a friend.
Okay, take the couch outside and just light it on fire. Start over. Do that. Of course, obviously do that safely. Preferably out in a field. And have some hoses around where you can watch it. But
preferably in a parking lot that's paved and has no cars. Right?
Start over. Yeah. Please. No near any buildings either.
No.
My sister. It's so funny. My sister. I don't even think we're answering any of these questions, are we? My sister though, she has this thing against like the smell of milk, and
Oh,
so bad. And I remember and she would get my daughter had I would have her on the couch, and I'd give my daughter like a thing of milk, and I would always forget, but my sister thought I did it on purpose, like I was doing a bit. But it would get, and then one time my daughter did spill it into the couch, and that
oh
was it. I
no.
think I think my sister ended up is like I'm throwing this couch away. It's like it's done, it's done. And even if the smell was gone, she would imagine it. So feta is bad.
Feta is bad. Feta or blue cheese, that would be another one. But like, yeah, if that gets into your couch, like, he- I don't know, man. Like, either either you gotta like cut the bottom liner out of the bottom, and then maybe you could get it out there. But what if it's like just wedged in there somewhere? You just can't even get to it. Sometimes sometimes you got to know when to fold them, and you just got to get a new couch.
It might be time for a new couch. Feta is pretty bad. But I'm sure there is some sort of service, right? A steamer service. Maybe you can go on YouTube again and figure out how to steam a couch.
Or, or you could leave that thing in the garage for like 6 months. Eventually,
The life cycle of the bacteria will
it's
go
gonna
and die, and then
yeah, it's gonna dry. Like if it was a slice of American cheese, I'd say no sweat. Don't even
no
sweat it,
sweat.
dude. It's gonna
Nothing will grow on that.
eventually it'll curl. It'll curl and then like it'll almost be like opaque. Like you can see through it after a while. But yeah, but feta,
Yeah.
that's brutal. I don't know. Um,
Oof.
yeah, that kind of reminds me of stories I've heard like on the road where people are like, "Yeah, so and so peed on my couch. We had to just take the couch
Done.
out.
Oh,
We had to take the couch out."
I know that story.
Yeah,
I,
shout out to Alex if you're watching.
yep.
Alex,
That wasn't me, by the way. That just because I know the story doesn't mean I was.
no,
That wasn't me. Yeah.
that wasn't me either. That's a phobia of mine, though. I've always had that. I was gonna, because heard stories of that, and I'll be like, dude, I don't want to drink a bunch of whiskey, and then I'm the guy that
Yeah.
the story is about.
Forever.
Yeah, you can't undo that. Like you're forever the guy that peed on someone's couch.
Mm.
Yeah. All right, let's see what the next one is here.
I guess that's a good answer to that question too. It's like, well, at least it's not pee. It's not urine.
That's right.
So
You pee on the couch, you're in a lot of trouble now.
can't. Oh,
You're in.
you got to get that bicycle horn
I d-
sound effect for that.
I got a little bell, little.
Oh yeah, that. And then you also have that little. Yeah, that is that the same ding that. All right, that's.
I got a bunch. Here, let's see. My friend is
Ugh.
unable to control her pace with alcohol. It ruins the night every time. What do I do?
Mm.
Uh-oh.
Let me ask you: have you known anybody like this?
Um, I've been the guy that drinks a lot, maybe more than I should, but
No, I,
my pacing is not bad. But I've
no,
known.
you're not. You're not that. You're not
No,
that
no, I
guy.
know, and I've hung out with you plenty of times to know that. But I have been around places like certain bars that were hangouts of mine, and there's a certain girl that at the beginning you're like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And you're like, "Dude,
Yeah,
10 minutes from now she's gonna be." It's like
a
it's
different
over.
person.
Yeah, and then in an hour it's even really bad, you know, and it like it goes downhill fast. And it's unfortunate because you're like, this person's awesome. It's just they're gonna
Yeah.
suck in 2 hours. I'm not gonna want to be around them. Um, there's not much you could do about that.
What do you? I know. What do you do?
You could,
That's.
I mean, there's nothing much you could do. I mean, you could say, hey, dude, get your shit together. But that's just gonna offend them. Like,
I think you have to talk to the. It's like it's like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing, right? But I think you got to talk to Dr. Jekyll. You can't talk to Hyde. Hyde, I don't think is gonna understand it. You got to talk to the before drinking person,
yeah,
maybe,
I agree.
and say, hey, I don't know if you know this, but you kind of you change. You're kind of a different person. It happens with people. I don't know if it's like a I don't know, something, a chemical thing or something in the brain where it switches. I don't, but I've seen it. Some people get,
The gene.
it's the allergy. Yeah,
The allergy.
gene.
That's what it was.
The allergy,
The
right? That's what we call it, the allergy.
Yeah.
But some people get real like mushy and huggy. Like I hug all over you all the time, but But then I guess people do the opposite thing too sometimes.
Yeah, some people want to fight and like they're just like
Yeah.
you're like, dude, this guy was like a really good guy, and like, but oh no, you could like see the look in their eyes. You're like, oh no, it's the other, it's Mr. Hyde, you know, um,
Yeah.
it's
Where they get wild and like throw a glass at the mirror behind the bar or something. You know what I mean? Like you're like,
yeah,
what's up? What do you? Yeah,
I
I know.
it might I would say stay your distance, keep the arm like the arm out to keep them away, and then you got to wait until they do something like get kicked out. It, I don't know till they get kicked out of the bar or somebody's mad at
No.
them or they went home with the wrong person or something to where they're full of regret. And then you talk to them and say, "Hey, man, that's not the first time that you've done this. You got to you need them to be able to admit that they screwed up and that they're in that place. And maybe if they're like, man,
Yeah.
I can't believe I went out, got crazy, and then I slept through and I got fired because I didn't wake up or whatever, and be like, not only that, but blah blah blah. It's a good time to be like, you know what I mean? Maybe you should think about uh not taking shots anymore and just drinking beer, or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like you think like, yeah, I would say don't do that because every time I'm like, I'm and yeah, that's where you just gotta say, look, I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. You do you, but this thing you're talking about, think about it. I've seen you go through it, and I've done it myself. You got to put some stuff back on
Yeah.
yourself too,
Oh yeah.
it's like disciplining an employee. They have rules where like for every negative thing, you got to say 3 negative things. You got to say 1 good thing that they do. There's like rules in management and stuff where you're like, yeah, hey, you're late to work, and you're not very good at this, and you suck at Microsoft Word, but you're a really nice guy. You're a really nice guy, and we really appreciate you being here. But also, you need to maybe think about working, and maybe
Your
not.
parking is impeccable. You're
y-
always between the lines out
Yeah.
there in your spot. Uh,
But
yeah.
maybe you shouldn't get drunk and sleep with everyone. But you have really nice hair. Yeah, I don't know.
Your
It's
hair's on. But well, one of the things I was thinking that they
hence.
said is it ruins the night every time.
Yeah.
So, and saying that, I would say another piece would be don't go out drinking with that person. Maybe if enough people do that, that person may get another idea. But if it's ruining your night, then why are you going out and getting your night ruined? I say you could talk to them and then be like, "Hey, do you want to come out to happy hour?" I'd be like, "Nah, I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna go somewhere else." But hey, thanks for asking me.
Because that reminds me of certain people that I've known over the years that I'm like, I see them at a bar and I make sure that I'm on the other side of the bar. Like, I might even like the person, you know what I mean? But it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? There's
And
people,
we've worked in bars for so many
yeah,
years too. I know we've seen this. It's just
yeah. And
oh, you
and you,
see, even your customer comes in, you're like, oh, here we go. All right, this is gonna be yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And I mean, just even in life, even there's just people that are like that, you know what I mean? And
yeah. And
and
they could be really cool people too. I think it's a chemical thing. I don't know what
yeah.
it is. I don't know the science, but something reacts somehow.
Well,
The
Phil,
allergy. It's an
Phil,
allergy.
Phil, are you still watching?
Yeah, I
Let's see.
guess the comments are kind
Yeah, the comments are kind of. James, is he watching?
of
Phil and
we're
James?
we're either riveting or we just dried it all up.
Let's see here. All right, well, let's jump to the next question. What's the best way to learn guitar? Asking for a friend. Natchet, I decided to jump into. I was running out of time, and then I started to. I was running out of time. I was like, we got to go live now. I'm going to ask a generic question. But for all of our friends at home that ask me this question, I always tell them to try and learn songs that they like. First thing you
That's
have,
great
yeah.
advice.
First thing I do is learn how to tune a guitar. Once you know how to tune a guitar, which you can find out on YouTube, then you look for the easiest song that you like, and then if if you can at least play that crappy song every time you pick up that guitar, you're going to get a reward every time you play that guitar. Otherwise, if you try and play some other baloney song, some other song like that, hey, you need to learn this, or some like a guitar school where they're making you learn Mary Had a Little Lamb or some
Yeah.
kind of other crap, you're not going to learn anything. But like, if you're like, yeah, I can play the beginning. It smells like Teen Spirit, and you're gonna be the guy that annoys everyone at the guitar center when you go pick up the guitar and start doing that. But at least you could play and you get a reward. Anyway, your turn, Natch.
I would say the same thing. I don't know what the best way is. I know the way I did, but I'm definitely not the best guitar player by any means. So my path may have not been good, but I do agree with you. I started when I was really young, but I didn't really get good, or I didn't really feel like I was proficient, whatever that means, until I started trying to learn the music that I loved or that I liked, like you said. So I was into Guns N' Roses, and so I would like try to play Guns N' Roses riffs or Stones, and whatever. But I think you're right. It's like if you feel good when you pick up that guitar, then you get that reward, then you're gonna keep playing it and you're gonna learn. One thing I would say, and I tell people this, is throw some money in and get a decent guitar. I'm not saying get the best, but get a decent one that feels good and when you play it. Because if you have one that's really hard to play and it's just really jank, you're gonna get discouraged and your hand's gonna hurt more than normal. And it's going to feel uncomfortable, and it's just a crappy guitar. There's guitars, I played it forever, and I'll pick up a guitar and be like, ugh, I hate the way, I didn't want to play it. So the action was too high or something. Like, spend some money, get a comfortable guitar, something you'll like to play. Like riding a bike, get a comfortable bike, and you'll ride it. If you're uncomfortable on it, you won't ever ride it.
Yeah, and
what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes you can also do stuff like, say you have a Fender guitar and you can't afford the full on Fender American or Japanese, but you get like you end up with a Squire. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can maybe talk to the guitar tech or a guitar rep at like the guitar store, Guitar Center or something, and say, hey, I can't really afford the badass Fender, but I've heard I can change tuners out and stuff like that. There's little things you can do to modify a guitar, and you put better tuners, your guitar actually stays in tune, because you have crappy,
oh man,
crappy tuners on your guitar. You strum it one time and now it's out of tune, and then it's hard to learn. So it's like if you can't,
you don't know if it's you or if it's your guitar out of tune. Yeah.
And if you can't afford to get a nicer guitar, at least put some decent tuners on your crappy guitar.
And have it set up by somebody who can make sure if it gets set up, and that would be the best way.
I remember in high school, like the song Lithium from Nirvana. You know what I mean? Like I started playing bass, but I remember picking up a guitar and I'd be like down, and I'm like, I felt like good because I played the song that I heard on the radio or heard, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's an easy song to play, but it's a little reward, you know what I mean? Like okay, now let's learn another one, and then another one, and another one.
And then pretty soon, you know how it is. It's just muscle memory. You just got to keep at it. And then eventually you'll wake up one day and you'll be like, oh, I can switch between these. And then you know how to play guitar. You may not be really good, but you can play. And you just have to stick with it. I remember that. I remember when that happened to me too. I woke up and was like, oh, wait, I can play this, But before I felt like I couldn't. It was weird. It's just muscle memory.
Yeah.
That was a good question. That was a gem.
That was a solid one. Well, the end of this question had Natchet Taylor on it, but then I changed it because I don't want to be a jackass. Who is the best guitar player ever? Natchet Taylor? Question mark.
Well, we all know that's a bit.
That's definitely a bit.
This is a great question because you got to put best in quotes. Because
who's the best? You are.
What's the best? You're the best bass player, or if not, the best songwriter. You make these perfect little gems.
Aw.
But what do you consider the best? Who's your favorite? Let me ask you this. Let's not say best, because then we'll get into like probably a lot of guitar players that might not be our favorites. But who is your favorite guitar player?
I'm about to tell you.
Yo, here we go. I like it. I like the part of the show where we're all waiting for the bit. We all know it's coming.
What
We're
bit?
just
What
waiting.
are you talking about? Oh crap. All right. I like how we just went off the rails. Who is the best? I would say.
Yeah. Who's the best? Who is the best guitar player?
Can you see that?
I'm like lagged behind a little bit, so I'm waiting.
Oh, it's coming.
All right. Yeah, that's it.
That's the one.
That's it in quotes.
I think best is a matter of opinion. I think you're the best guitar player, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, I think you're the best.
I'm not even mean you. I mean the listeners at home. I think I don't think there are. I think there's really crappy guitar players that are better than some proficient guitar players just because they're awesome. I was talking about this with Liberty DeVito, the other day.
Yeah.
And I was saying, it's like you can have some people that are like technically proficient that are
Right.
better musician, but I feel like it's people's rough edges and their flaws that actually make their personality and their soul into their playing. And that's why you can get some like sterile studio musician who could come in and play, and then you get some other guy that's half as good but he's got more soul, and it just makes the sound of the band, you know what I mean? So I'm not the best.
Or take somebody like you have like a lead guitar player that everybody knows, right? But also take somebody like Malcolm Young in AC/DC, who you wouldn't even know what he's doing except that he's making the entire AC/DC sound that people like. So if you like AC/DC, it's because of Malcolm Young.
Yeah.
It's not, you know what I mean? He's the reason why you like those tunes, but you wouldn't even know it, that he's probably the best guitar player in that band because of what he does. He's not maybe the most proficient, but what he does is he creates that sound and that mood that you don't even know he's doing it. You could argue, you're right. You could argue it with anybody. You got like somebody like Keith, I like Keith, but then you got John Petrucci of what Dream Theater or Yngwie Malmsteen, or somebody who can do craziness that I can't even imagine how you do those things.
Yeah.
But it just depends on your, what do the kids say? The cup of tea?
Yeah, whatever your cup of tea is.
Yeah, that's what they say. Something like that.
Whatever your cup of tea bag is I don't know.
They say that's on TikTok or something.
On TikTok? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the kids hang out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is the time in the show where I tell everybody that if they're having a hard time, there's no shame in it, man. If you need help, go talk to people. If you need help, the National Suicide Prevention Line, 1-800-273-TALK, 8225, suicidepreventionline.org. Guys, don't be shy or ashamed or any crap like that.
No, absolutely not.
People have problems and people have a hard time. And if you don't think your problems are that big that you need to call those guys, call somebody. And if you call those guys, I bet you they could send you somewhere else if you just need somebody to talk to. So
they will. And I wanted to say that it's weird times. It's weird times. We've been going through so many different things, and now it's getting hot. And I mean, all over the country, and there's all kinds of stuff. And the thing is that it all builds up. It's cumulative. It's just one of those things, like, you don't even realize what an effect it has on your, and this isn't just for suicide, but I mean, just mental health in general. You think you're doing fine, but all this stuff does build up, and it's a cumulative effect. It just piles on, and you think everything's great, and then one day, you know what I mean? It's not so great, and you feel depressed, or something's going on, and I think just talking it out or reaching out, there's no shame in it. It's really healthy to be able to talk about it. And we were cooped up for a year or more already and all kinds of stuff. And it's just, it's
It's
just building up and it's nothing to be ashamed about at all. I like that y'all say that every every show.
I
You know what I
started
mean?
I started doing that in May because it was Mental Health Month, and I said, "Oh, it's
Hmm.
Mental Health Month. Maybe we should say something, throw a number up, you know." But it's like, I think every month is should be Mental Health Month. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on in people's lives right now, like you said, with all the crazy pandemic and everything we've experienced in the last year and a half. There's, I mean, there's more divorces going on right now
Oh, I
than
bet.
ever, dude. I talk to a lot of people that are going through divorces. I've buddies that are realtors that are like, dude, you're not lying, Clint. Like, it's insane. And I called it. I said, dude, you're gonna have a lot of babies and a lot of divorces. Actually,
Hmm.
the babies didn't even pan out because apparently people aren't really in the mood when they think that they might be infected with some kind of virus.
I bet.
They're not really thinking about getting intimate. I figured, hey,
Yeah.
we're locked in the house, you know. But like baby boom era and stuff like that, everybody comes back, you know, or everybody's going off to war and everybody got pregnant, right? That's what caused the baby boom. But I figured, okay, everybody's gonna be cooped up, nothing better to do than, you know. But it turned out like, yeah, people weren't doing that, but divorces for sure. Like the buffer of work, people that maybe don't even like each other that much that in the first place or already have problems and they sweep them under the rug and they don't ever confront these issues and so but they're able to avoid these problems because they go to work
Yeah.
and get away and then they come home and like, oh cool, I'll play it cool for a couple hours, then we'll go to bed and it's all cool. Well, now all of a sudden you're around each other all day every day, that it caused a lot of problems and
Or
a lot of things you can't hide from anymore. You can't ignore because you're in the same house. It did. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just saying. I mean, or even not even that crazy. It's like you get used to the way your relationship works. And y'all have y'all's apart time, and that's a big part of your
Yeah,
relationship. And then it's all gone, and then you are up in somebody's face 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I can imagine any relationships like, hey, I liked you a lot before, and now I have had enough.
and I'm like that. I need alone. I need my alone time. I'm like,
Hmm.
you know, I love together time, but I definitely need my alone time. And so I could totally see that where it's like all of a sudden you get snippety with somebody, or you blame somebody that you don't have time to do these other things, and you start wishing you had more time to do these things, and you start getting resentful. And man, if I didn't have to hang out with you all the time, I'd be recording more music, you know. And I'm like, that's not how it should be. You should be happy to see that person, you know what I mean? And so I get it. It's
Yeah,
crazy times. But anyhow, it's
it's crazy times.
yeah, see a therapist before. I would say before, unless you just realize one day you woke up one day you're like, dude, this person sucks. And I was able to kid myself. But if you're like, if you have a little part of you is like, maybe they're not all bad. I'm just kind of fed up. You should probably talk to somebody because you don't want to blow. You don't want to screw something up just because you're frustrated. I would say talk to a counselor or something first. And but you know,
Yeah, because then you can sort it all out. Maybe that is what's gonna happen, but at least you get to sort it out and have a better idea instead of just
yeah. It
you
it
know
it
coming off half hinch.
It it depends. It's too because so words hurt, and sometimes you say things and you cross a bridge that you can't ever unsay. So you should always think about that when you're like if you at home,
Yeah,
when you're about to say something and you're like, should I say it? You can't unsay that thing. You know what I mean? And there are
no.
certain things that you say, and there's no coming back from it. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of those things that went down too. Uh,
Or if your partner sets you up for a trap, like a General Akbar trap, you know what I mean?
yeah,
See, I'm starting. Trying to bring
it's a
back
trap.
old,
um,
trying to, trying to bring back old material for the previous episodes.
I I read a that's a nice callback. I read a thing today. This person was saying, what did she say? Oh, you know what it was? This guy was bugging his girlfriend that they lived together, and he was bugging her like to get vaccinated and bugging her to get vaccinated. He was real paranoid about the whole thing, you know. And she wasn't that worried about it. And but yeah, he kept bugging her about it, and then she finally went and got vaccinated
He was bugging her
to get vaccinated, you know.
Okay.
And he's just worried about her is all it was. But
Yeah.
she finally went, but she didn't tell him, and she was sick of him. And she'd be like, "Hey, you want to go out and go out and have dinner?" Or, "Hey, you want to go do this?" He'd be like, "We can." And he was trying to make jokes out of it. "Hey, we can go to dinner if you get vaccinated," or, "Hey, we could go do this if you get vaccinated." She was getting sick of it. She got vaccinated, and she didn't tell him. And then later, he was giving her some crap about it. And then she's like, "It's my body, and blah blah blah. I shouldn't have to do this," and get into a fight. And then she finally is like, "Look, I got vaccinated. 2 weeks ago. I just didn't tell you because I'm sick of you giving shit and it's none of your business." And it's like, dude, you're like setting traps. Like you like can you imagine? Can you imagine you get you like if your wife your wife gets vaccinated and doesn't tell you about it just to f with you. You know what I mean? She's just trying to like
It's a
I,
trap.
I shouldn't have to do this if unless I want to, and blah blah. I'm like, y'all are freaking married, dude. Like y'all should communication is key. And yeah, no one should force you to do anything with your body, but y'all should have if y'all are married. It wasn't even a girlfriend; they were married. And I'm like, what? And it's like, why are you setting traps for this guy? You know, the only reason,
Let it go for 2 weeks. Two
yeah,
weeks of his comments,
yeah,
and then
and then let him have it. And
he
it's like,
probably thought an inventory of, dang, I said that. He probably was like 84 times I gave her some crap.
yeah.
And that's about 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I did it 84 times. He's like,
And
traps.
what's funny is the motivator for that is that he's worried about her, and he's just worried about her well-being, and that's you know. And so I was like, wow, that is a toxic situation. I saw another one. If we don't, for those who don't know
That's
at
so
home,
good.
if I don't see, if we don't get people to message in, I will look on Reddit sometimes in some advice columns, and sometimes I'll find questions there. So if we get people to email us or message us, I'll grab them and throw them into the show. But I gotta have questions, so sometimes I'll go look. I'm also in some Facebook groups and other things too, for advice, and so I'll look there. But yeah, I had another one. This person was from another country, and their mother had like they were trying to figure out how to get their mother deported out of the United States. Uh,
I don't why. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at that.
no, it's crazy.
Why would they ask that on a?
How they're like if
What's
I
the best
they're
way
like they were like
to
if
get her deported?
and it was a little bit of broken English, but it was like if and and they were like, yeah,
God.
if I contact my local police, will they know who to contact to get? I'm like, what? And I'm reading this thing, and they're like, yeah. And basically, her mother her mom abandoned their family in another country and moved with some guy who was well-to-do, better than they were doing in their country, and moved to the United States, and now is living in the United States with some guy. And has a 5-year-old child here with this guy, and she feels abandoned, but she is like
Dang.
she is jaded and like a super villain, dude. She was like, and they were like, "Hey, you should move on." She's like, "How can I move on when my mother is happy in the States living American dream? I will not be happy until I destroy her life and she comes back to this country." And it was like, it was crazy, and people in the comments are like, "Are
Man.
you kidding me?" And it was crazy that she was like, you want to talk about some consumed by the dark side? This was some crazy stuff. Um, the sad part about it is that this woman is not going to get deported by like nobody's going to go searching. You're not going to get like a team of people searching this woman out, and you know, in Connecticut or wherever she lives. You know, that mom's doing her thing,
Right.
and if she's married to an American, she's probably a citizen anyway. It was pretty
Oh
crazy.
man.
Yeah. So I kind of got off the rails. Now I'm just kind of
Well,
hanging out with my buddy Natchet. So everybody at home, but yeah, I just couldn't
I want
believe.
to. I want to say two things. One, I think you were when you were telling me that you would go mining for questions. I always would think you are probably going to see some of the craziest things, and two, uh, do you ever to think of like the things we're talking about, like when we're talking about the pandemic and people getting a divorce and having relationship problems, or the vaccine thing? Um, do you ever like step back in third person and listen to the conversation we're having? Like this couple
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
time we live in. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you're back. You froze for just a second. Go ahead. Dude, say that last sentence again.
I
This
was just saying us. Oh yeah, I do. Us having this conversation. What a weird time we live in, where we're talking about um, people getting in fights over vaccines and you know what I mean. It's
it
just
it
while we were talking about it, I was just kind of listening to us talk about it, being
yeah.
like, man, we are living in wild times right
It
now.
it's like a
Gotta
Total
fix my
Recall.
mic.
It's like
Can you hear me?
yeah, yeah. You get
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's like we're living in a sci-fi movie. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we got to we got to get the vaccine and yeah, all that. It definitely is like a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Um
That's the question. It's like my Android stopped working like 2 weeks ago, and now I have to figure out how to clean the kitchen. It's like that's what we're living in right now. Those are
yeah.
the questions that are being sent in. It's
Yeah, and there's
my
actually
my doctor thinks this vaccine thing is crazy. What gives?
yeah, and when the robot is vacuuming the kitchen, the dog goes crazy. That's a real thing that happens in here. It's just hilarious.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally.
Not to mention we're having a Star Trek conversation doing video phone. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely,
and then
yeah.
I've got the Dick Tracy watch now that I could actually do voice
Yes,
calling on my watch. We are living in the future. I've said this
we are.
many
We
times.
are. This,
Crazy times. Um, normally I have a game or something planned, but at the end of the show, today we don't have a game, so that's why we're just off the rails hanging out. I think that's cool because Natch and I are buddies, and I think we can do that and be somewhat entertaining. But yeah, what are some other things that are the future?
ooh, I don't know. You mentioned something. I think it sneaks up on us so fast. This sounds. I was thinking. This sounds like us just having a phone conversation at this point. But how much the internet has changed. Think about all those. It was like maybe in the '90s. I can't think of it. So maybe what was it? Minority Report, the Tom Cruise
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
and there was some other. I mean,
With
even
with the
Total Recall, like movies like that were glimpsing into the far future. We'll never, trying to about how there were like ads freaking everywhere, and you watch that movie and you're like, oh my god, that's so many ads. That's crazy. That's so you know what I mean. You think, oh, that's so in the future, and I like every time I try to open up a web browser, go to one website, I'm just constantly. It's just like the future's here, man. It's ads everywhere. I can't even watch a YouTube video on how to
uh,
unclog my sink or learn how to put a tuner on, or what else were we learning to do?
dude, the
But
YouTube ads are getting
how
pretty
to I was
ridiculous.
you can't watch a Word Microsoft Word uh,
Tutorial.
tutorial without 47 ads.
Yeah. What
And
a
they're all and how they're all. Remember how I think it was Minority Report, right? Where they would like put the ads to your like, and I remember seeing that being like, man, that's so creepy how those ads are geared towards these consumers. And I say like one thing to you, like, man, I'd like to get a like one of those uh, Gibson Flying V's, as a joke or something, and then all of a sudden all I get are Flying V ads like in my feed now, or whatever. It's crazy.
dude. I was making a joke about like yeah, I was making a joke about being in Magic Mike and the stripper show. Now now all these muscle dudes are showing up on my phone. I had to trade in my phone. I was like, "Can I just get a new phone? I don't even want this phone anymore." Like
That's like the feta cheese in your couch.
exactly.
It's now done.
I left the phone in the garage for like a month. It didn't go away. I was like, "There's still strippers on my phone. I gotta get a new phone. This is not gonna work."
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
or
True story.
it's crazy. The future's here where the algorithms record your entire like how you scroll. So I scrolled this one time and I saw this weird it was like, I guess, a fitness ad, but it was like for stretching or mobility or something. And the guy was doing something really weird, like this. And I stopped scrolling and was like watching it like this. I was like, huh, that's okay. And I scrolled past. Well, it remembered that I had stopped. And now I get nothing but these stretch mobility ads, yoga. That's all I get. And it's crazy how they monitor where, it's all recorded. That data, it's
Dude,
crazy. Now, think about the computers in some warehouse somewhere that are covering acres and acres of just like at a server farm storing all this data. It's crazy. It blows my mind.
dude, today, this, I'm not kidding you. You just told me this. I didn't really know about the scrolling thing. And today, I was, everybody knows I like Loki and all the Marvel
Uh-huh.
shows and all that. And there's Lady Loki, right? And I was scrolling and there was some kind of thing about like, it was some story. It was on Facebook that in the news articles and stuff. And I'm scrolling through articles and it was like how Lady Loki, uh, costume was modified to make it easier to breastfeed or something. And I go, okay, weird, okay. And I scrolled through, and then I was like, about 2 minutes later, I'm just scrolling through the different news articles, and all of a sudden it's like, blah, 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 breastfeeding. And I'm like, what the hell? I was like, yeah. And I'm like, Facebook noticed that I stopped on Lady Loki breastfeeding costume thing, and they're like, oh, this guy's a creeper. He likes breastfeeding articles. Let's give him some more. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I like Loki. I don't care about the breastfeeding part. Give me more articles about Loki. You know what I mean? I was like, but I didn't know they paid attention when you stopped scrolling. They're like, "Oh yeah, he likes that. Give him more of that." That's crazy.
That makes
That
me think, like, I
that
wish
happened to me
that we.
like 4 hours ago. That happened to me, and I was like, I was like, dude, did they give me that because they saw that I
I
stopped?
think so.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
so
so.
weird.
But I want to know, like, I want to take those computers, and we'll never be able to do this because it's proprietary, right? But I want them to, like, generate a sketch, like an image of what they think I am or look like, and what my interests are, how old I am, what I'm into, all these things. And I want to see if it's like dead on accurate or if it's just completely off the wall. Like, this
Yeah, yeah.
guy's a 65-year-old male who has one child that he breastfeeds and also loves kids, loves to stretch, has a. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I can't think of even all the things that would have caught my eye that are getting clicked. Is like, oh, this must be. I'd love to see like what their idea is and if it's on. Maybe not, because it'd be pretty creepy if it's right on.
Well, I know because I've had this conversation with you before, but they have doppelgangers of you. They can do that in Facebook with the advertising. When you can go and target advertise, and you can do a thing that music advertising course that I took. Like
Uh huh.
they one of their things was like you can do for instance, say I did an acoustic guitar video singing a song. Cool. I could do this as a test video and advertise the test. And then you can look at the analytics on that. And I can see who watched the video past so many seconds, like who watched, and you could see who actually really likes you by
Mm.
seeing how far through the video they watch. You're like, okay, and you make a group basically, and you're like, okay, I got this group of people that watched more than 75% of my 3-minute video. This isn't a hey, I watched for 5 seconds. Like
Right.
these people appreciate me. So I'm like, cool. This is a list of people that I would definitely want to advertise to when I put out another acoustic guitar video, right? Okay, or release a CD, or release a CD. Release a thing on Apple
What's the
Music or whatever.
CD?
Yeah, what is a CD? Uh, or anything like that. It's like cool. This is a tested group of people that like me. But what's amazing is that Facebook can look at those people and say I'm one of the people,
Yeah.
and they can find doppelgangers of that person, and advertise to them too, and you could include them, and they never heard the first video. They only are doppelgangers of the people that actually heard the song, but Facebook is smart enough to know that they will like you
And then
also.
It's probably a 93% probability that
Yeah.
it's just as something crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, because like let's say there's a Clint Baker in that group, and they're like, yeah, this guy, he likes Philly cheesesteaks, he likes bourbon, he doesn't go to bed till 5 in the morning, and you know what I mean, and he's like, and he likes rock music, whatever, you know what I mean, and it knows all of the stuff that I do. He doesn't like ballet. He doesn't like other stuff, but he likes these things. And they find a guy that's just like me. He's also of this age. He's also, you know, all the stuff. He likes black T-shirts. He likes Vans. He likes and they know all of the things you like. And because you click and you stop scrolling, and they can actually make a fake doppelganger of you and advertise to that person because there's another person that's like you somewhere else in the world. Or not really. There's other people that have little similarities that equal what you are, which is crazy.
The future. Man,
welcome to the
that is
future.
crazy.
The next big thing is here.
It's here.
Yes, sir. Well, dude, a lot of people that you know, Natchet plays with me. Actually, I play with Natchet. That's his baby. Him and my other buddy Chris Klink started Nowhere Bound a while back, and they were kind enough to invite me into the band. I've been playing with them for years. But Natchet also does his own solo stuff, and you're here, you're talking, you're not performing, but you might as well plug your stuff because you've got some great solo stuff, and especially some of the bass playing on some of your songs is great.
Yeah, really good bass playing. I was lucky to.
Why don't you plug your stuff? Where to find you if somebody wants to give you to listen? What's it called? How do they find you?
If you just search the name that you were so nice to put right there, is that Comic Sans?
It's I think it's called Crime Fighter. Look at that.
Oh, okay.
It just got bigger.
It's a classier Comic Sans. Look that up, and you can find all the places and look up the music and listen to it. It's all. Oh yeah, it did get bigger. Nice. Yeah. It's all kinds of stuff, and maybe you'll like it. But see if you like it, and then maybe the algorithm will pick you up, and whatever, we'll figure it out. But yeah, was that a good enough plug? Oh man,
yeah,
that's big.
He's on a lag, so he doesn't.
I'm on a lag, so now I'm seeing the bit unfold.
I'm doing a bit, but yeah, Natchet Taylor, dude, he's got some great songs. Check him out. He's on Spotify, Apple Music, all the places that you find music. He's great, and he's also in Nowhere Bound. Another fun band, and man, dude, I really appreciate you hanging out with me, dude, because
I love it. I knew it was gonna be fun. I'll talk to you any day anyways, whether we're doing a show or not. So
awesome. And I threw this one together quick. I talked to Natchet like 45 minutes before we went on.
They can't tell. They couldn't tell.
Hey, I was like,
it's so pro looking.
So
especially this name floating around. That's so pro.
Yeah, so thank you, and thanks again, Natchet, for joining. And dude, I'd love to have you back. You know, Mia's not available. I'd love to have you back, man. It's always a good time.
I'd love to. I had a great time. Anytime. Awesome. If not, I'll be watching it. So
awesome, guys at home. Like, share, subscribe. Let your friends know about the show. That's how we get around. And Natch, I will see you soon, man.
All right.
All right,
thank y'all.
Thanks again, guys. We will see you soon.
Here's the music.
Yeah.
Woo!
Answering for a friend.